The knock came at exactly 7:15 in the morning. Mr. Harrison knew it was exactly 7:15 because he always ate his breakfast at 7:15, not 7:14, not 7:16, exactly 7:15. Everything in his mansion happened at the exact right time, in the exact right way. That's how he became a millionaire. That's how he stayed a millionaire. But this knock was wrong. Nobody knocked on his private dining room door during breakfast, ever. The staff knew better. The golden chandelier above his head sparkled like 1,000 tiny suns. The marble floor shined so bright you could see your face in it. Everything was perfect. Everything was in its place, except for that knock. "Come in," he said, his voice sharp like a knife cutting through butter. The door opened slowly. Too slowly. Mr. Harrison looked up from his newspaper, ready to be angry at whoever dared to interrupt his perfect morning. But then he saw her. A little girl stood in the doorway. She was tiny, so tiny she barely reached the doorknob. She wore a maid's uniform that was way too big for her. The sleeves covered her hands. The skirt dragged on the floor. She looked like a child playing dress-up, except she wasn't playing. In her small hands, she clutched a silver cleaning bucket. It was almost as big as she was. "Sir," her voice was barely a whisper, like a bird chirping in the distance. Mr. Harrison frowned. He didn't like surprises. Surprises meant things were out of control. And nothing in his mansion was ever out of control. "Who are you?" he asked. "Why are you here?" The little girl took one step forward, then another. Her feet made soft padding sounds on the marble floor. She looked down at her shoes, old, worn-out shoes with holes in the sides. "My name is Maya, sir," she said quietly. I'm Sarah's daughter." Sarah. Mr. Harrison knew that name. Sarah was one of his maids. She cleaned the West Wing every morning. She was quiet. She never bothered him. She never asked for anything. She just worked. "Where's Sarah?" he asked. "Why did she send you?" Maya's lips trembled. Her eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. She was trying so hard to be brave. "She didn't send me, sir." Maya's voice cracked like a broken glass. My mom died this morning." The words hung in the air like smoke. Mr. Harrison's coffee cup stopped halfway to his mouth. He stared at the little girl. For the first time in many, many years, he didn't know what to say. "Died," he repeated, as if saying the word again would make it make sense. Maya nodded. A single tear rolled down her cheek, but she quickly wiped it away with her too long sleeve. "She was sick for a while," Maya explained, her voice shaking, "but she kept working. She said she had to. She said we needed the money. This morning, she didn't wake up. She just didn't wake up." Mr. Harrison set his coffee cup down. His hand was shaking just a little bit. He hated that. He never shook. Shaking meant you were weak. Shaking meant you cared about things you couldn't control. "I'm sorry for your loss," he said stiffly, like he was reading from a script. "But why are you here? In my dining room? During breakfast?" Maya took a deep breath. She was squeezing the bucket handle, so tight her knuckles turned pale. "I have nowhere to go, sir." Those 6 words hit Mr. Harrison like a punch to the stomach. "What do you mean?" he asked. Mrs. Patterson, the head housekeeper. She said I can't stay here anymore. She said only my mom worked here, not me. She said I have to leave today. But I don't have anywhere to go. We lived in a small room in the city, but we couldn't pay the rent. That's why we came here 2 weeks ago. My mom asked if we could stay in the staff quarters until things got better. Mr. Harrison remembered now. Sarah had asked him about that. She'd been so nervous, standing outside his office, wringing her hands. He'd said yes without thinking much about it. One more person in the staff quarters didn't matter to him. But now Sarah was gone, and her daughter was standing in his dining room, holding a bucket with nowhere to go. Mrs. Patterson said I had to sleep in the laundry room last night. Maya continued, her voice getting smaller and smaller. It was cold. The machines were loud. I didn't sleep much, but I didn't complain. I promise I didn't complain. Something twisted inside Mr. Harrison's chest. He didn't like it. It felt uncomfortable. It felt like like he should do something. But what? He didn't know how to handle crying children. He didn't know how to handle emotions. His world was made of numbers, contracts, and business deals. Not tears. Not orphan little girls. "Please, sir," Maya said, and now she was looking right at him with big, hopeful eyes. "I can work. I'll work really hard. I can clean just like my mom did. I'm small, so I can reach places grown-ups can't. I can dust under the furniture. I can polish the silverware. I can scrub the floors. I'll do anything. I won't eat much. I won't cause trouble. I promise. Please don't make me leave. I have nowhere else to go." Her voice broke on the last word, and this time the tears came. They streamed down her face like tiny rivers, and she tried to wipe them away, but they kept coming. Mr. Harrison stood up from his chair. It scraped loudly against the floor. Maya flinched and took a step back, thinking he was going to yell at her, thinking he was going to tell her to leave. But he didn't yell. Instead, he walked around the table slowly. He stopped a few feet away from her. Up close, he could see how thin she was, how tired, how scared. "How old are you, Maya?" he asked. "9, sir. I'll be 10 next month." 9 years old, the same age as his nephew. His nephew who lived in a huge house with a swimming pool and a video game room and more toys than he could count. And here was Maya, 9 years old, no mother, no home, clutching a cleaning bucket like it was a life raft. "Come with me," Mr. Harrison said suddenly. Maya's eyes went wide. "Where?" "Just follow me." He walked out of the dining room, his expensive shoes clicking on the marble floor. Behind him, he heard Maya's softer footsteps, hurrying to keep up. They walked through the grand hallway, past the huge paintings, past the tall windows with velvet curtains, past the staff members who stopped and stared, confused. Mr. Harrison didn't look at any of them. He had no idea what he was doing. He only knew one thing. He couldn't send this little girl away. Not today. Maybe not ever. They climbed the stairs in silence. Maya's bucket bumped against each step. Clank, clank, clank. She was breathing hard. Try to keep up with Mr. Harrison's long legs. Her too big uniform swished around her ankles. She had no idea where they were going. Maybe he was taking her to the front door. Maybe he was going to hand her some money and send her away. Maybe this was goodbye. But then he turned down a hallway she'd never seen before. This hallway was different from the rest of the mansion. The walls were covered in dark wood panels that smelled like old books and expensive cologne. Paintings of serious-looking men in suits stared down at them. Their eyes seemed to follow Maya as she walked. Mr. Harrison stopped in front of a large wooden door with a gold handle. He pushed it open. "Come inside," he said. Maya hesitated. Her mother had always told her, never go where you're not invited. Never touch what's not yours. Stay small. Stay quiet. Stay invisible. But her mother was gone now, and Mr. Harrison was waiting. Maya stepped inside. The room took her breath away. It was an office, but not like any office she'd ever seen. Tall bookshelves reached all the way to the ceiling, filled with leather books that looked older than her grandmother. A huge desk sat in the middle, made of wood so dark it was almost black. Behind it, floor-to-ceiling windows looked out over the garden, where roses bloomed in perfect rows. "Sit," Mr. Harrison said, pointing to a leather chair in front of his desk. Maya sat down carefully. The chair was so big her feet didn't touch the ground. She held her bucket in her lap like a shield. Mr. Harrison walked around to his side of the desk. He didn't sit down. Instead, he stood there, looking out the window with his hands in his pockets. For a long time, he didn't say anything. Maya waited. Her heart was beating so fast she could hear in her ears. Thump, 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 thump. Finally, Mr. Harrison spoke. "Your mother worked for me for almost 10 years. Maya nodded, even though he wasn't looking at her. "In all that time," he continued, "she never once asked me for anything. Not a raise. Not time off. Not special treatment. She just worked. Quietly. Efficiently. She never caused problems. She never complained." He turned around to face Maya. His face was hard to read, like a mask. "Do you know what that means?" he asked. Maya shook her head. It means your mother had dignity. It means she had pride. Even when things were hard, she didn't beg. She didn't make excuses. She just did what needed to be done. Maya felt tears prickling her eyes again. She was the best mom in the world, she whispered. I believe you, Mr. Harrison said. And for the first time, his voice was soft, gentle, even. He walked over to a wooden cabinet on the wall and opened a drawer. He pulled out a small silver key attached to a blue ribbon. This is the key to the guest suite on the 3rd floor, he said, holding it up. It has a bedroom with a real bed, not a cot. It has a bathroom with hot water. It has a closet for your clothes. It even has a small sitting area with a bookshelf. Maya stared at the key. It glittered in the sunlight streaming through the windows. I'm giving this to you, Mr. Harrison said. Maya's mouth fell open. What? You'll live there. You'll have 3 meals a day with the staff. You'll go to school. I'll arrange for that. And you won't sleep in the laundry room ever again. Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. But why? I'm nobody. I'm just... You're Sarah's daughter, Mr. Harrison interrupted. That's not nobody. That's somebody. He walked over and placed a key in her small hand. The metal was cool against her palm. Your mother gave 10 years of her life to this house, he said quietly. The least I can do is take care of her daughter. You won't work as a maid. You won't scrub floors. You'll be under my protection. Do you understand? Maya looked down at the key in her hand. Then she looked up at Mr. Harrison. Tears were streaming down her face now, but these were different tears. Not sad tears. Not scared tears. Happy tears. Thank you, she whispered. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She wanted to hug him, but she didn't know if she was allowed. So she just held the key tight and cried. Mr. Harrison cleared his throat awkwardly. He wasn't used to tears. He wasn't used to gratitude like this. Come on, he said, a bit gruffly. Let me show you to your room. The next few weeks were like a dream Maya was afraid to wake up from. Her room on the 3rd floor was the most beautiful place she'd ever seen. The bed had fluffy pillows and a thick comforter that felt like sleeping on a cloud. The bathroom had soap that smelled like lavender. The bookshelf had stories about princesses and dragons and kids who went on adventures. But the best part? She was safe. At first, the mansion staff didn't know what to make of her. Mrs. Patterson, the head housekeeper who'd made Maya sleep in the laundry room, walked past her in the hallways without saying a word. Her face was always pinched tight, like she'd bitten into a lemon. But then something changed. One morning, Maya came down to the kitchen for breakfast. The chef, a big man named Carlos with kind eyes, smiled at her. Buenos dias, pequeña, he said. I made you something special today. He placed a plate in front of her. Chocolate chip pancakes with whipped cream and strawberries arranged in a smiley face. Maya gasped. For me? For you? Carlos said, winking. Eat up. You're too skinny. From that day on, Carlos always made sure Maya's plate was full. Sometimes he'd sneak her extra cookies when no one was looking. The gardener, Mr. Chun, was next. Maya had been sitting on the back steps, reading one of her new books, when he walked by with his wheelbarrow full of flowers. You like roses? He asked. Maya nodded. They're my mom's favorite. Were my mom's favorite. Mr. Chen's face softened. The next day, he planted a special rose bush right outside Maya's window. Pink roses, he explained, for remembering. Even Mrs. Patterson started to change. One rainy afternoon, Maya was walking down the hallway when she slipped on the wet floor. She fell hard, scraping her knee. Mrs. Patterson appeared out of nowhere. Are you hurt? She asked, her voice sharp but worried. I'm okay, Maya said, trying not to cry. Mrs. Patterson helped her up. She didn't smile, but she didn't frown either. Be more careful, she said. Then she walked away. It was the nicest thing Mrs. Patterson had ever said to her. Slowly, the mansion started to feel less like a museum and more like a home. Then came the winter storm. It happened on a Tuesday night. Snow fell from the sky like someone had torn open a pillow full of feathers. The wind howled like a wild animal. The power went out, plunging the mansion into darkness. Maya sat in her room, wrapped in blankets, watching the snow pile up outside her window. She wasn't scared, not really, but she was thinking about her mother. Her mother had loved snow. She used to say it made the whole world look clean and new. Maya wondered if heaven had snow. Suddenly, she had an idea. She climbed out of bed, wrapped a blanket around her shoulders, and tiptoed downstairs to the kitchen. Using the light from her small flashlight, she heated up milk on the stove, Carlos had taught her how, and mixed in chocolate powder. She poured the hot cocoa into 2 mugs and carefully carried them upstairs. She knew where Mr. Harrison's study was. She walked past it every day. She knocked softly on the door. "Come in," came his voice. Mr. Harrison was sitting at his desk, working by candlelight. He looked tired. When he saw Maya standing there with 2 mugs of hot cocoa, his eyebrows shot up in surprise. "I thought you might be cold," Maya said shyly. And I thought you might want company. Everyone's better with company during storms." For a moment, Mr. Harrison just stared at her. Then, slowly, a smile spread across his face. A real smile, not the tight, polite smile he gave to business partners. A genuine, warm smile. "Come sit," he said, gesturing to the chair across from him. Maya handed him a mug and sat down. They sipped their hot cocoa in comfortable silence, listening to the wind howl outside. "Your mother used to say something," Maya said after a while. She said, "People show who they really are when they think no one's watching." Mr. Harrison looked at her. "That's very wise." "She was talking about you," Maya said. "She told me once that you were a good man. She said you treated the staff with respect, even when you were having a bad day. She said that's how she knew you were the real deal." Mr. Harrison's throat felt tight. He took another sip of cocoa to hide the emotion on his face. "Your mother was a remarkable woman," he said quietly, "and you're a remarkable girl." Maya smiled, a real, bright smile that lit up the whole room better than any candle. Outside, the storm raged on. But inside, in that study, everything felt warm and safe and right. For the first time since her mother died, Maya felt like maybe, just maybe, everything was going to be okay. Spring came to the mansion like a whisper turning into a song. The snow melted. The roses bloomed. The birds returned to sing in the garden. And Maya was blooming too. She no longer walked to the hallways with her head down, trying to be invisible. Now she walked with her chin up, a book tucked under her arm, humming softly to herself. Sometimes it was a song her mother used to sing. Sometimes it was just a happy tune she made up. The staff had completely changed how they treated her. Carlos taught her how to make empanadas in the kitchen. Mr. Chun let her help plant vegetables in the garden. Even Mrs. Patterson, stern, serious Mrs. Patterson, had started leaving fresh flowers in Maya's room every Monday morning. She never said anything about it, but Maya knew it was her. One Saturday afternoon, Maya was curled up in the library, reading a book about a girl who discovered a secret garden. The sun was streaming through the windows, making everything glow golden and warm. Mr. Harrison found her there. "Maya," he said gently, "can we talk for a minute?" Maya looked up from her book. "Of course." He sat down in the chair across from her. He looked nervous. Maya had never seen him nervous before. "There's a charity gala next weekend," he began. "It's a big event. Very fancy. Lots of important people." Maya nodded, not sure where this was going. "I usually go alone," Mr. Harrison continued. "I don't really enjoy these things, but they're necessary for business. This year, though," he paused. "This year, I was wondering if you'd like to come with me." Maya's eyes went wide. "Me? To a fancy party?" "Yes, you. We'll get you a nice dress. You'll eat fancy food. You'll probably be bored by all the speeches. But," he smiled, "I think it would be nice to have you there." Maya's heart felt like it might burst out of her chest. "Really? You really want me to go?" "Really," he said, and the way he said it, warm and certain, made Maya want to cry happy tears all over again. If you're loving Maya's story, don't forget to share this with someone who needs hope today. and subscribe so you never miss stories that touch your heart. The night of the gala arrived faster than Maya expected. A stylist came to the mansion and helped Maya pick out a dress. It wasn't the fanciest dress in the world, not covered in sparkles or lace. It was simple and elegant. A soft blue dress that matched her eyes, with a white ribbon around the waist. Her hair was braided with tiny flowers woven in. When Maya looked at herself in the mirror, she barely recognized the girl staring back. She looked happy, healthy. "Oh, you look beautiful," Mr. Harrison said when she came downstairs. He was wearing a black suit with a blue tie that matched her dress exactly. "You match me," Maya said, surprised. He winked. "I thought we should look like a team." The car ride to the gala was exciting and scary at the same time. Maya had never been to anything fancy before. What if she said the wrong thing? What if she used the wrong fork? What if everyone stared at her? "Hey," Mr. Harrison said, noticing her nervousness. "Just be yourself. That's all you need to be." "But what if myself isn't fancy enough?" Maya whispered. Mr. Harrison looked at her seriously. "Maya, you're the bravest person I know. You walked into my dining room on the worst day of your life and asked for help. That takes more courage than anything these people will ever do. You belong anywhere you choose to be." Maya held on to those words as they walked into the gala. The ballroom was massive, bigger than Maya's entire apartment building back in the city. Chandeliers hung from the ceiling like frozen fireworks. People in beautiful dresses and expensive suits stood around talking and laughing, holding glasses of champagne. And they were all staring. Maya heard the whispers immediately. "Is that Harrison's daughter? I didn't know he had a child. Who is that girl? She doesn't look like him. Maybe she's adopted? Why would he bring a child here?" The whispers felt like tiny needles poking at Maya's skin. She wanted to hide behind Mr. Harrison. She wanted to run back to the car. She wanted to disappear. But then Mr. Harrison did something unexpected. He took her hand. Not in a "I'm dragging you somewhere" way. In a "I'm here with you" way. In a "you're not alone" way. He walked her straight into the center of the room, where all the most important people were standing. "Everyone," Mr. Harrison said loudly, and the whole room went quiet. "I'd like you to meet Maya." All eyes turned to her. Maya felt like she might faint. "Maya has been living with me for the past few months," Mr. Harrison continued. His voice was strong and proud. "Her mother worked for me for nearly 10 years. She was one of the most loyal, hard-working people I've ever known. When she passed away, Maya had nowhere to go, so I gave her a home. You could have heard a pin drop in that ballroom. Some of you might wonder why I brought her here tonight," Mr. Harrison said. "Some of you might think it's strange. Some of you might even think it's inappropriate." Maya's stomach twisted. Was he going to apologize for bringing her? Was he going to explain her away? But then Mr. Harrison looked down at Maya and smiled. That real, genuine smile she'd only seen a few times. "I brought her here because she's family," he said simply. "And family belongs together." The word hung in the air like magic. Family. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Happy tears. The best kind of tears. If this moment gave you chills, hit that share button and subscribe. Because stories like this remind us what really matters in life. Some people in the crowd smiled. Some people looked confused. Some people whispered to each other with raised eyebrows. But Maya didn't care about any of them, because Mr. Harrison called her family. The rest of the night was a blur of fancy food, boring speeches, and curious questions from people who wanted to know Maya's story. Mr. Harrison stayed by her side the whole time, making sure she was comfortable, making sure she felt safe. At one point, an older woman with kind eyes approached them. "You're very brave," she told Maya, "and very lucky to have found someone like Mr. Harrison." Maya shook her head. "I think he's a lucky one," she said, "because now he has me." The woman laughed, a real, delighted laugh. "You're absolutely right, dear." When they finally got home late that night, Maya was exhausted. Her feet hurt from the fancy shoes. Her face hurt from smiling so much. But her heart felt full. Mr. Harrison walked her up to her room. At the door, Maya turned to face him. "Thank you," she said, "for everything. For the room. for the school, for tonight, for calling me family. Mr. Harrison knelt down so he was eye level with her. Maya, do you know what you've taught me? He asked. She shook her head. You've taught me that a mansion full of beautiful things means nothing if it's empty of love. You've taught me that the most important things in life can't be bought or sold. You've taught me that family isn't just about blood. It's about who shows up when you need them most. He put his hand on her shoulder. You showed up in my dining room on the worst day of your life, and you changed everything. You made this cold, empty house feel like a home. You made me remember what it means to care about something bigger than business deals and money. Maya threw her arms around his neck and hugged him tight. For a moment, Mr. Harrison froze. He wasn't used to hugs. But then, slowly, he hugged her back. I love you, Maya whispered. Mr. Harrison's voice was thick with emotion when he replied, I love you too, sweetheart. Years later, people would still talk about that night at the gala. They'd talk about the millionaire who brought a little black girl and called her family. They'd talk about how his mansion, once cold and empty, became known for its warmth and charity. They'd talk about the girl named Maya who grew up to become a doctor, who opened a free clinic in the city, who never forgot where she came from. But Maya would always remember it differently. She'd remember a knock on a door at 7:15 in the morning. She'd remember a silver bucket clutched in scared hands. She'd remember 6 words that changed everything. I have nowhere to go, sir. And she'd remember the man who looked at a broken, scared little girl and decided to do something impossible. He decided to care. Because in the end, that's what family does. They show up. They make room. They say, you belong here. And they mean it. If Maya's journey touched your heart, share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us love and kindness can change everything. Because the world needs more people like Mr. Harrison and more brave souls like Maya.